What's up, everyone? My name is Marie. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's speed build, I am building a little house, a little rental house in the world of Granite Falls, as you can probably tell. Granite Falls is the destination world that comes with Outdoor Retreat, if you didn't know. And yeah, as you can tell, I'm building it in the winter time. I made the world a little bit snowy because, well, obviously I am just really in the mood for that. And it is also, I was just inspired by the new Snowy Escape expansion pack that we're getting in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And that build and everything I've seen on it just really inspired me to start building in the winter and make the world a little bit more snowy and cozy like that. So that's what I decided to do. And I am building this little rental in the world of Granite Falls, as I already said earlier. And yeah, so I also furnished it as a rental. So if you have this expansion pack and if you want to use, or if you're looking for a cute little cabin as a rental, then you can go ahead and download this one. I furnished it for 4 people, so there is 1 bedroom with a double bed, which I imagined could be for the parents or something, and then there is a loft area that I decorated to be a bedroom for 2 kids, or at least there's 2 single beds up there. So you can have 2 kids sleeping there. I also made sure to place down like a toy box. So there is a couple toys for kids to play with if you decide to use this house for a family with kids. But of course, you can also just have a family of 4 adults or just 4 friends traveling here and staying in this cabin. If 2 of those friends don't mind sleeping in the same bed together, then that's all good, and that should all work out just fine. So yeah, I didn't really have any sort of inspiration for this. I just knew that I wanted to build something that had a couple of porches and a couple of cute balconies going on. So there is a lot of outside seating spaces as well, even though the world is cold and snowy, but I think it'd be really cozy to just bundle up and put on a fire or something and just spend some time outside as well, even though it is really cool. So make yourself a hot chocolate or a hot coffee or tea or something and just hang out outside because the world is really pretty. I built it right by the lake here in Granite Falls. So the back of the house has this incredible view over the lake as well, which I think is really pretty. So yeah, I really like this house. It's very simple. The shape of it is pretty generic. And nothing too complicated, but yeah, for a rental, I figured it would make sense, and I think it's really cozy as well. I especially really like the loft area that I have going on inside of this house. I think it really gives the house a lot of character. There is a really loud car driving by. You could probably hear that. I'm sorry, but it's all fine. So yeah, like I was saying, the shape of the house is pretty generic, but still very like characteristic in my opinion. And it definitely reminded me of a cabin that I once stayed at with my parents when we were on vacation in France. And we rented, like, this is more than 10 years ago. I think like maybe 15 years ago or so. We went to this tiny little cabin. It was much smaller than this one, but the vibe of it was kind of the same, like this log cabin, and there also was this tiny little loft area where we would sleep together. There was, I think, 1 double bed and 2 single beds up there. So me, my parents, and my sister, we all slept up there in that same area, and it was so cozy and so much fun. And it was like in this foresty area by a lake, and there was like deer running around and stuff, and it was so magical. Like, I was very little, but I do have this memory of it, so it really, I don't know, it just I kind of still remember that vacation, and I don't know why, but it's probably because of the whole vibe that was going on, and it was so cozy and so magical, and it was really cold as well. There was no snow though, but it was still very cold. I think it was in like October or something. So yeah, that's kind of what this cabin reminded me of as well, and that's why I had so much fun building it. This cabin is a lot bigger though. It's still very small, but for 4 Sims, it should work out perfectly fine. Like, there is a little dining table inside as well, and a tiny kitchen and a little living area and 2 fireplaces actually, which I think is really cozy. So yeah, it's a really fun little cabin, and it also didn't take me that long. That probably has to do with the fact that there's not that much landscaping to do because it's snowy. I have the lot snowy, as you can see. So there was not really any point in doing a whole lot of landscaping because, for one, you can't see the terrain paint. Obviously you will see it when the snow melts. So if you do play with this house, if you decide to download this and you play with it in a different season or just when it's not snowy, you are probably going to want to go ahead and place down some terrain paint or maybe do a little bit extra landscaping if you want to. Because I obviously didn't do that. I did a little bit of landscaping. I placed down a couple trees and a couple bushes here and there, so it kind of looks a little bit more realistic and lively. But yeah, when the snow melts, there's not going to be any terrain paint or anything. So you're probably going to want to touch that up if you decide to play with this house in a different season or just when it's not snowy. But here you can see that we moved on to the inside of the cabin already. And here you can see that loft area that I was talking about. And I don't know, I think it's so characteristic. And I placed down a little dining table right by the front door. And then you can walk around the stairs into the living area and the kitchen. And I kind of divided it by a half wall. So there's like this half wall in between the kitchen and the dining table. So everything still really feels kind of open and cozy and like one space. And that's really what I wanted to achieve for this house as well. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just really happy with the way that this turned out. I think it turned out really cute, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed the log cabin vibes that I had going on. It's not a type of build that I typically tend to build a lot. So it was a nice change of pace for me. It was something different, and besides that, I barely ever build in the wintertime in The Sims or when it's snowy. So that was also a very nice change of pace. And obviously, as I already said before, it was definitely inspired by all the Snowy Escape early access footage that I've been binge watching over the past like a week or so. Well, no, not even a week. I don't know, just a couple days, I guess. But yeah, I have been loving all the footage, and I'm so extremely excited for the pack. Obviously, this house is not inspired by the pack as far as the architectural style goes, because this has nothing to do with like Japanese inspired anything, like not at all. This is more of a mountain cabin or a log cabin. But for the wintry vibes, I was definitely inspired by the pack, because even though Granite Falls is not a mountain world, there is no like mountains or no like, well, just no mountains, so it wouldn't really make sense for like snowboarding or skiing or anything. But I could easily see this world as a snowboarding or skiing world as well. I think that would make a lot of sense, like just the whole vibe of it, the general vibe of it, even though there's no mountains. But if there were, this would also be a very nice world to go skiing or snowboarding, in my imagination at least. Or just for hikes and stuff, it'd be so ridiculously pretty. But yeah, here you can see that little kitchen that I was talking about. It's really small, but it works fine. I playtested everything, which was kind of annoying because I was playtesting it and I wanted to playtest the fireplaces as well. And then, of course, my Sim started a fire. I don't know why this happens to me all the time when I'm playtesting. Like whenever I use a Murphy bed, for example, and I playtest my build, my Sim 10 out of 10 times just dies by trying to pull down the Murphy bed. Like, it's so annoying. And every time I try to playtest a fireplace, she sets things on fire, and it's just very typical at this point, and just kind of funny. But it's still very stressful because when your Sim dies on the lot that you're playtesting and you haven't saved it to the gallery, you can lose all of your furniture or like all of your furnishings, which would be terrible. But that's not what happened, thank goodness. But here you can see there is this tiny little living area right by the kitchen, and I did remove that coffee table and replaced it with a smaller one, like a square, smaller coffee table in the end. I don't think I recorded that, but when you go ahead and download this house, you'll see that because this coffee table was blocking the fireplace and I couldn't use, I couldn't use the fireplace because the coffee table was in the way basically. So I just swapped it out for a smaller one in the end, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I really like this vibe that I have going on in here. It's definitely kind of cluttered for a rental maybe, but I don't know, at the same time it kind of makes sense for this style of house in my opinion, because it's just a cozy little cabin and it shouldn't be too modern or too neat on the inside. Like, it kind of makes sense in my opinion to have it a little bit more cluttered. There's just some random books around and some candles and little plants and a tiny little TV, because I did want there to be the opportunity to use to watch TV for your Sims, even though you're probably not really gonna use that when you're going on vacation to Granite Falls. Maybe you are. I have personally never played with the gameplay for this pack, which I know that's crazy, but I'm obviously more of a builder, so I don't play the game all that much anyway. Like, I do sometimes, but the Granite Falls or the camping gameplay, I've never actually used that before, which is kind of crazy. But now that I built this house, I actually really want to have a couple Sims go on vacation, or a family of Sims go on vacation to this house, because I think it'd be really cute, like in the winter time when it snows and stuff. I think that would be very cozy. But yeah, and then there is 2 bathrooms in this house as well. There is a bathroom downstairs and there is another bathroom upstairs as well. And they're both full bathrooms. They're pretty much identical. But yeah, that is also very convenient. And as I was saying before, this house is definitely inspired by the vibes of Snowy Escape. And I am so incredibly excited for that pack. Which is crazy because me personally, I have never really gone snowboarding or skiing. Like, I have never done that before, but for some reason, for my Sims, I think it would be so much fun to do that. And not like I don't think it's fun in real life, it's just that I've never tried it before. I've never gone on I've gone on snowy vacations before, but not for like snowboarding or skiing, more for like hiking and things like that. But for The Sims, I think it'd be so much fun. And I think that the world is so ridiculously pretty. Like, I love it so much. I can't wait to get my hands on it and start building, which I also feel kind of bad about because I love all of the builds in the world. You probably know this, but all of the lots were built by James Sterner, Delinquency, Simmarysims, and Lil Simsy. And I love the builds. They're so good. Like, they're just so pretty. So I feel kind of bad building or like bulldozing their lots and building things of my own, but I'm obviously going to because I love building and I want to just make my own builds in that world as well, obviously. But yeah, I feel kind of bad about it, but at the same time, I'm so excited for it. Like, I can't wait to get my hands on it. I do have to educate myself a little bit more on the Japanese building style, because I obviously don't really want to offend anyone. I have done a Japanese or a Japan-inspired build on my channel like a few weeks ago when the theme for the trailer dropped. Well, not when the trailer dropped, but when they like kind of told us what the style and theme was going to be, like when we got the first like screenshots and stuff. So yeah, I tried to build a Japanese-inspired or Japan-inspired build, and I think I did well. Like, I really like it. Obviously, there were a lot of things off as well because I also just kind of really want to make it my own. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I just kind of feel like I have to educate myself a little bit better on certain things. But I just can't wait to get the pack, to just get my hands on it and start building in that world and just trying things out. And yeah, I'm just overall very excited for it. But this is the little loft area that I talked about before that I furnished for either to kids or just to adult Sims, doesn't really matter. It's just a double bedroom up here that I just placed that shelving unit with a couple extra blankets. So maybe like when your Sims are cold, I know it doesn't really work that way in Sims, but I figured there would be like some couple extra like comforters and blankets and pillows and stuff in there that you can just grab if you want them or if you need them. And then I also placed a little dresser with a nice chair for your Sims to just relax and sit down and read a book or something. And then I also made sure to place down a toy box for children. If you do have children coming over to this house or staying in this house, they have at least some sort of toy to play with if they need it. And then there is a full bathroom up here as well, which is pretty much identical to the one downstairs, except this one doesn't have that big mirror. But yeah, for the rest, it's pretty much the same. And then there is 2 little balconies for this house that I furnished. Placed down a couple extra seating opportunities for your Sims here. So like maybe when they're playing with the toy box, they can just sit on one of those pillows or one of those poofs or something. It just looked a little bit empty in there, so I placed down a couple extra things. And then here, this is the balcony in the front of the house where I just placed a couple of benches and some plants. I don't know how realistic it is that those plants are still green, but for some reason, maybe they're just evergreens, or I don't really know. It's The Sims, it doesn't really matter. But then this is the balcony on the other side of the house, and I turned that into a little skill building area. So I placed a chess table and an easel. I don't know if you're gonna want to work on your skills necessarily when you're on a vacation with your Sims, but I figured to just finish the house, or maybe you want to use the house as a residential lot in a different world, then you could also do that. And then there is a couple of skill building items out there for your Sims to use and work on their skills. There is also a bookcase in this house downstairs, so that all works out fine as well. There's no computer or anything though. But you do have space like in the loft area to place down a computer or something. Like there's more than enough space out there. And then this is the back porch, and I figured it would be really cute to have like a winter barbecue or something. I think that is a thing that people do. I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure that it is. So I thought it'd be fun to include a grill as well, and just a nice little picnic table with some extra decorative lights and candles and stuff. And then I also placed down this fire pit with a couple chairs around it. Oh yeah, I also placed down a guitar because I thought it'd be cute. And it's just an extra skill building item. And then I placed this little fire pit, which would be really fun and really cozy for your Sims to use. And yeah, then that is pretty much already going to be it for this little rental house. So if you want to download it, you can definitely go ahead and do so. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!